Incredible footage shows a Ukrainian drone operator sparing of an injured Russian soldier after initially trying to kill him. Earlier, Ukrainian FPV drone operators had blown up the Russian soldier's hiding trench by dropping grenades and killing several of his colleagues. The unverified video released by Ukraine's K2 Battalion, which is part of the 54th Brigade of the Ukrainian Army, begins with a drone scouring a Russian trench in the aftermath of an attack. It locates the Russian soldier lying on top of bodies and drops a grenade nearby, which fails to kill him. Returning to the trench later, the footage shows the injured man has crawled away from near where the grenade exploded and can be seen looking up at the sky and putting his palms together in a gesture of prayer. He appears to be begging for his life from the drone operator, who takes pity on him. After dumping its grenades on the battlefield, the drone returns to the base and then returns with a bottle of water and a message detailing how the soldier can find Ukrainian lines. The soldier crosses himself and signals his thanks before taking a drink of water. He then appears to inject a painkiller into his left arm. After resting exhausted on the ground, Russian soldiers clambers out of the trench into no man's land. Picking his way between bomb craters, he is led by the drone operator through the battlefield, where a shell can be seen hitting the ground near him. The Russian soldier eventually makes it to a Ukrainian trench and surrenders to 2 Ukrainian soldiers who frog march him to a command post. Reports suggest it may have been recorded in the Donbass region of East Ukraine, where the K2 Battalion has been positioned. Ukrainian and Russian forces have been battling in the east, including hand-to-hand combat in the Kharkiv border region. The footage could form part of a recruitment drive for the battalion, which is desperate to attract more Ukrainians to join the war effort. It was posted on several social media platforms, including the messaging app Telegram, where its running time was more than 18 minutes. Currently, Russia has suffered large losses of troops and military materials on September 26th, according to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. During battle, Moscow lost 1,400 troops, 71 artillery pieces, 159 vehicles, and 67 UAVs in just one day, according to the Daily Post by the Ministry on X, which included the Ludwig van Beethoven quote, "To play without passion is inexcusable." Russia's troop losses were the highest the Kremlin has seen since May, and in 1 week, they have lost approximately 10,000 servicemen and women, according to Armed Forces of Ukraine figures. Russia doesn't publish its military losses, and leaked U.S. documents previously revealed infighting among Russian officials, which led to allegations of the Russian Ministry of Defense undercounting its losses in the war with Ukraine. Experts dispute Ukrainian and Russian reports of casualties, as both sides have been accused of inflating death tolls for the enemy and downplaying their own losses. From Monday to Thursday, Russia reportedly lost 513 tanks, vehicles and armored fighting vehicles, and 5,380 men. Russian losses of troops, artillery systems, and prized equipment hit also record highs in July and August, according to Ukrainian figures. Since the beginning of the war, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense claims it has eliminated 647,800 Russian military personnel, 15,946 UAVs, 51,526 tanks, and nearly 2,000 multiple rocket launch systems. These losses in weapons and military supplies are significant as they follow the destruction of 3 Russian ammunition depots earlier this month in Ukrainian drone strikes, which reportedly eliminated North Korean missiles as well as 2 to 3 months' worth of Russian munitions. Moscow has been fighting to push back the Ukrainian armed forces in Kursk, but pushed forward to invade 4 towns in the region of Donetsk last week as it made progress on Ukrainian soil. Russian President Vladimir Putin said on September 25th that the Russian government is considering rethinking its rules surrounding using nuclear weapons, specifically using nuclear weapons in Ukraine, a non-nuclear country. This announcement follows Ukraine's push with Western allies to utilize long-range missiles to strike Russia. On the same day, the 72nd Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, AFU, has reportedly begun retreating from its positions amid ongoing Russian efforts to encircle Vuhledar in the Donetsk region, according to a report by Forbes analyst David Axe. Axe said that the Russian attack on Wednesday, September 25th, succeeded unlike previous unsuccessful attempts. According to Serhiy Novikov, head of the Vuhledar City Military Administration, before Russia's full-scale invasion, Vuhledar had a population of around 15,107 residents who categorically refused to evacuate, remain in the city, as reported by Suspilna. Citing the Ukrainian analytical group Frontelligence Insight, Axe said that Vuhledar's defense may now be in its final stages. Signs indicate that Ukrainian forces, specifically the 72nd Brigade, have begun a gradual retreat to more defensible positions, following Russian forces' recent threats to the city's flanks. Stanislav Bunyatov, a junior sergeant in the 24th Adar Assault Battalion, posted on Telegram on Wednesday. In the morning, the Russians moved toward Vuhledar from the Pavlivka sector. The claims that they have cut off the road to Bohoyavlenka are currently false. So far, there have been no official statements regarding a withdrawal to more fortified positions from either the General Staff or the brigade's leadership. However, on Monday, September 23, the brigade's official Telegram channel posted a video showing destroyed Russian equipment from recent battles. Footage from drone cameras shows a large number of destroyed vehicles used by Russian forces for assaults and ammunition transport, suggesting heavy losses among their troops. The video highlights the precise work of FPV drone operators who target and destroy Russian armored vehicles. Oleksandr Musienko, head of the Center for Military Legal Research, told RBC Ukraine that the Ukrainian command will not allow its forces to be encircled in Vuhledar. If it becomes clear that holding Vuhledar is no longer viable, I believe the Ukrainian troops will be ordered to withdraw in an organized manner. Not allowing the defense line to be broken, Musienko stated. Andriy Kovalenko, head of the Center for Countering Disinformation of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine, said that Vuhledar's position on high ground made it a strategic defensive point. However, with the recent influx of guided aerial bombs, Russian forces have managed to destroy large parts of the town, which Kovalenko outlined has enabled Russian infantry to advance. Analysts at the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, believe that Russia's goal in capturing Vuhledar is to stretch the AFU, preventing the redeployment of Ukrainian troops to reinforce the defense of Pokrovsk. Musienko said that Vuhledar plays a critical role in Ukraine's eastern defense operations. By holding the area, Ukrainian units have been able to tie down a large Russian force and inflict significant losses. This has allowed Ukraine to strengthen its defense in the Pokrovsk sector and halt Russian frontal attacks near Novoherdivka. And Musienko also added that Russia is determined to capture Vuhledar, which sits on a strategic elevation, to aid its future offensives and realign the front line. Moscow also fears that Ukraine could use the heights around Vuhledar to position long-range artillery capable of striking Volnovakha, a key railway hub for Russian logistics. In the Vremivsk sector, near Pavlivka and Vuhledar, Russian forces made 8 attempts to seize Ukrainian positions, according to the official Tuesday morning report of the Khortytsia Operational and Strategic Group on Telegram. In January and February 2023, the 72nd Mechanized Brigade of the AFU outnumbered and defeated Russian troops near Vuhledar and has been defending this section of the front for 2 years. Seleznyov told Kiev Post that the 72nd is severely exhausted, and it remains uncertain whether the AFU's general staff has the resources to continue defending the city, given that Ukrainian forces are stretched thin across the entire front line. As Forbes analyst David Axe writes, while hostilities in many other sectors have slowed, the fighting around Vuhledar may intensify. Axe said that the mined roads and fields around Vuhledar have become a death trap for advancing Russian forces who are using armored vehicles, motorcycles, and even golf carts. However, the roads near Vuhledar, just a few miles north, are less dangerous, and Russian troops are advancing there under cover of heavy airstrikes, he said. Axe said that the 72nd is well equipped with T-64 tanks, BMP-2 combat vehicles, and M109 howitzers. But even the best equipped brigade can't hold the line forever, and 2 years is a long time to be in combat without a unit-wide break. The 72nd Mechanized Brigade has achieved a rare feat, defending the same frontline town for nearly 2 years against a consistently larger enemy force. Now it needs help, if not replacement, Axe writes. The Ukrainian military is simultaneously advancing near Kursk while defending in the east and south, stretching its resources thin.
Пострел! Выстрел!